certain time. No, you are overhauling your entire life, right? Now, what is life made up of? It's made up of a series of actions or karmas, right? So karma, as we understand it in popular culture, is not just about, oh, I did this and something's going to happen to me. That's the crux of it. But karma just means action. We have come to understand it as a series of give and takes that leads to a better or worse fate based on what those actions are. And I have put it in that blog post. So there are links from that Integral Yoga original post to other sub posts on Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga, etc. Karma is not just about accumulating something based on your bad actions. The good news is your good actions also get rewarded with something good, right? The simplest way of understanding it is this. A one-off action, you did something one time, may not have much of an impact in a karmic sense. It might not come back and haunt you unless it's something really deep and a significant action like killing someone or doing something harmful in a very significant way in one small action. But typically we don't face those situations. But simple habits, and I've mentioned this in one of my videos before. If you go to Las Vegas, if you gamble, that's your habit. The likelihood of having a gambling habit, becoming an alcoholic, or getting a sexually transmitted disease are higher. But that doesn't mean that people going there and doing it once in a while as a vacation is that there's anything bad in it, right? As entertainment. Another set of actions that are good actions. You go to the gym, you eat good food. The likelihood of you staying healthy and having a longer life, healthier life are higher, right? So karma is a series of actions. It's not just a one-off thing. What you do once doesn't matter as much. Free will, what I have found out is most of us think we have free will, but we really don't. Why? We watch TV, we have friends, we have family, and we follow instincts. Many times when you think this is an action that you have initiated, usually it's some kind of an instinct. Okay? A major part of enlightenment and awakening is discovering that first of all you were doing that in the first place, like by doing mindful awareness and meditation, and because of the awakening itself and what it shows you, you realize that a human being is doing so many things programmed into them, some that can be removed and others that can be just observed. May not be able to remove them, you still have to go along and do those, but you can still observe them, that you are doing this as a programmed individual. There's a beautiful line in a movie, The Watchmen. The Watchmen is a set of superheroes, and Dr. Doom or Dr. something, I forget the name. The character that's blue and has superpowers with a little circle and a dot, a bullseye on his forehead. He says, everyone is a puppet. I can just see the strings and you cannot. It's kind of like that with karma. Once you're awakened, you can see the strings. So your instinct to procreate, to find a mate, your competition, your rivals at winning the affections of a woman, all of this is programmed into you, just the way birds do it or animals do it, like the mating ritual, so-called, as they show it on National Geographic. We do the same things, and they're programmed into us as humans. Some things are programmed by just the culture and society you live in, easier to discard, easier to see for what they are. Okay? So this is the root cause of karma. Karma comes from your programming first. Your inclination, your personality, who you want to be. Your inner voice and what it is prompting you to do based on your instinct. So there's many factors that determine your karma. Which ones can you get rid of? The ones easiest to get rid of are your own bad habits or something that you just get carried away, don't focus much on. You can discipline yourself and bring yourself back. some form of discipline for exercise or method used to do something positive in life will obviously take you away from some of the harmful things you're doing to yourself. Slightly more difficult to get rid of is social programming and indoctrination, because most people have lived all of their lives in one culture, one society. Now, I was fortunate enough to grow up in India and then move to the United States at a young age and be curious enough and adaptable enough and flexible enough to discover the difference between those cultures. And hey, this was told to me, and here people don't do that at all, and they're still fine, and adapt to those things. You end up discovering more about yourself if you're just discarding something that you were doing blindly based on culture. What food to eat, what traditions to follow. Some of them just become like, this is not necessary. I'll still do it, or if I have to do it, I will do it. But this was just a misunderstanding based on cultural preferences. Okay? Those can be discarded, those kind of habits, those kind of understandings. So this is part of Jnana Yoga. Even though we say Karma Yoga, discarding some of it requires an intellectual understanding, and one more layer, one more part of you that is superfluous, that is not you, that is not your real inner self, is discarded. But it takes effort. Free will, even though it's free will, even though you're a human being, because of many centuries of conditioning as a human being in the human existence, because of the culture we live in, any culture, any society, any civilization with its rules, an intelligent person has to slowly go within and remove what doesn't work for him or her. Otherwise, you'll be miserable. Here's an interesting thing. We talk about psychology a lot, right? What is psychology? It is the understanding of the psyche. But can it be separated from the culture that you grew up in? Here's the interesting thing. If you grew up in a Korean culture or a Japanese culture, there are certain psychological illnesses that are only specific to that culture. If you grew up in America, you might have certain kinds of depression, certain kinds of problems that are only relevant to that culture, prevalent in that culture. Now, America is a wrong example because it's a new nation, more modern nation, but traditional cultures and what they consider madness or some kind of psychological difficulty, some places may not even call it a psychological problem. Okay? So, what is it? It is repression, the difference between your individual personality and what your society is telling you. And that gap, that difference, creates friction within your own self. And somehow the mind rebels against that because your inner self is telling you one thing, but your programming is making you do something else. And somewhere there is a mismatch. You are fortunate, I am fortunate, if you move to another culture and are smart enough. Even after moving to that culture, don't just say, no, this is not what I do, this is what my culture says. You actually notice, observe, and change yourself. Or adapt yourself or become yourself. Discard some layers. After the Kundalini awakens, this is the process, which is why I am a Taoist. Taoism is a big part of me. Taoism does not talk about adding some methods. It talks about discarding. Remove layers. And it simplifies everything to a yin-yang balance. There's more to it than that, but simplifying is the priority. Not complicating, not adding, right? And within you, once you simplify, once you identify karma, once you identify programming, once you identify that programmed action will only make you a programmed person, will carry you in a certain direction, you pull yourself back and then your karma changes. I'm not going to go into the same details as my blog post that I have posted. It's similar. I'm talking on similar lines in this video, but some of the additional stuff, if you want more information, it's in that post. So removal of your programming can only be accomplished by putting new methods, by being aware of your actions and embarking on a new journey, doing new things. And discarding what is not you, what is not relevant to your inner needs. Regardless of how odd it seems to outsiders, how it's not supposed to be done in this culture. If it makes sense to you, it gives you inner peace and calm. As long as you're not going out and hurting someone else. You cannot say, oh, it gives me peace and calm to go out and shoot people. No. It has to be your inner journey and what gives you calm without hurting anyone or comparing to anyone. Comparison is one more thing you have to drop. You're creating more bad karma by comparing yourself. See, karma is instant. If you're working with someone, an employee, I say this in the blog post, you'll read this, and his promotion hurts you, or your promotion and this guy did not get promoted makes you feel good, I got promoted. It's immediately setting up a paradigm where the minute that guy gets promoted over you, you're going to feel bad. Why? Because you did it. No one asked you to. From the outside, it's just one guy got promoted, another guy didn't. And you can be happy for him and say, hey, maybe this time I didn't. I'll try my best, but hey, good for you. I'm glad you got promoted. If that was your approach to begin with, you wouldn't feel bad. Once he got promoted over you, you felt happy when you got promoted and he didn't, and you had some gloating in there. So naturally, that comparative paradigm makes you sad. That's karma, or one small part of karma. You decide to live how you want to, but remember, you have free will. But the statement from the Bhagavad Gita, I do the actions and I don't care about the consequences, doesn't really apply the way you think it is. Your actions should not be done with expectation, is what that means, kind of. It means you don't know what kind of consequence you're drawing in, right? So better be careful, because if you have done something and those consequences have been bad and you have noticed that, because you are now more mindful, because you're more aware of your actions, well, just stop doing something that is detrimental. Don't set up those spirals. Don't set up those sequences, because that's back and forth, back and forth. You'll keep doing it. Some people keep doing the same thing over and over again, expect different results. That's the definition of insanity, right? So don't be that way. If you know something, your ego sometimes prevents you from, you feel too like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. You want to keep proving that to yourself that you didn't do anything wrong. And in doing that, you keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Who is that helping? That's not helping anyone. It's definitely not helping you. And you're going to look like a jerk to people, because you keep doing the same actions. The more miserable you are, the more you act arrogantly to people, the more of that you draw into your life. Karma. But all of this, removal of your programming, understanding your own actions, understanding what to do to bring better actions in your life, has to be done with your own discriminative intellect. In Sanskrit, the word for that is Vivek, or Vivek Buddhi. My name is Vivek, but I don't always show Vivek. Sometimes I've done foolish things. Many times I do them. The point is, we all do foolish things. The point is to bring yourself back, understand those things, and see the effect of karma, your own actions in your life. And then you know that, to know that you have the ability with your free will to change that. That's this whole cycle of karma, and how you can adapt, make a better future for yourself through good actions. That's just a small glimpse into karma. I could talk about this subject for many, many hours and still not be done with it. It's very complex. But this is just a small little glimpse into karma, karma yoga, and how to create a better future for yourself, how to use free will. I hope you found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Namaste.